going on, YouTube? We are live here with Pro Play Games, and we have an exciting time. As you know, Series 8 is right around the corner, and what does that mean? Banlist time. Bandai takes this designated time in the year right before a set release to go ahead and look back on the cards that were a little bit too oppressive during the format, getting data from Pro Play Tours, Regionals, and LCQs, now with the most recent National Championship. So, without further ado, let's get into what they decided to errata or ban on this brand new ban list. Starting off with number 1, World Peace. World Peace has been a card that has been oppressive since it really came out, honestly. It's just a card that its design is inherently just flawed because of the cards that continue to be printed after its initial release. So, World Peace has always been used in Shenron decks really to essentially cheat the game. You would just be able to summon one of your most powerful bombs regardless of color, leading to a lot of Shenron decks playing, they would be base blue, but they'd be playing, red-green cards, or they're playing green cards, or cards that they can't even actually play with the energy base that they're currently playing with. And World Peace was able to mitigate all that because all you had to do is fulfill the energy requirement, and because of cards like Objection and Whis the Resting Attendant, you were able to accelerate your energy way past your opponents to the point where all you needed to do is keep that one copy of World Peace and have every type of threat that you can possibly think of in your drop area. Now, because this is a game that doesn't have too much drop manipulation, there wasn't a lot of ways to stop your opponent from actually having those cards in the drop area, especially because of a system like the combo system used in Dragon Ball Super, where you can easily just get rid of any threat from your hand and use it as a combo and just have that ready to go whenever you wanted to. So because of that, World Peace was something that was really limiting the design on future cards, as well as being an oppressive finisher in decks like Shenron, which just finished second place at the National Championship, as well as having a dominance throughout the entire season since the latest series. So despite Bandai producing a lot of silver bullets, and a lot of silver bullets just existing for decks like Shenron, it was still something that was getting to a point where it was really turning off players, and it was really ruining the experience for a lot of people that wanted to play something else. Now, how does Bandai respond to World Peace? Well, they could have limited it, they could have banned it, but they actually went forward with an errata, and let's go over here and read it now. Now, the post errata reads, if your leader card is a Shenron, choose one battle card in your drop area with energy cost 3 or less and play it, where before it did not matter what the energy cost was, it just had to be equal to or less than your current energy. So this really opens up the door for it to still be abused in a way, because you can still recur cards from the drop area, but now you're using 4 energy or using your wish that's limited to once per turn on something that's only going to bring out a 3 or less battle card. So not the best, but it's definitely a step in the right direction, because now you're not going to be able to bring out those 7 cost, 8 cost, 9, 10 cost battle cards for free, essentially. So this really limits the design on that, and I really do like this direction. I'm not really a huge fan of a lot of erratas. As you can see, I don't want to have a huge booklet of cards that read this but now do this. Especially a card that just came out in the event pack and just got reprinted with a nice art. I probably would have gone more on just banning the card. I think that would have been a little bit more simple than just errataing it, but maybe it pops up in some more powerful Shenron builds as Shenron adapts. This deck is in no way dead, so definitely don't think that, because there are a lot of veggie variants, and there's a lot of now decks that are going to concentrate on Gogeta 7, whether it be fusion summoning or still ramping to it, just to hard cast it, because 7 energy is not the hardest thing to accomplish in this game, especially when you still have cards like Objection and Whis the Resting Attendant still around in the game. Now to number 2 on the errata list, we got Plea for Salvation. Many of you don't know what this card does. I honestly haven't really remembered what this card does, because one, it came out in Clash of Fates, which was not the most popular set in the world, and 2, it's not a desire that we see running around too often, especially because it reads something similar to World Peace. And I do like that they targeted this, because it does have a very similar type effect. Granted, it is a green desire, so it's not colorless, it's not black, but Pre-errata reads, if your leader card is a Shenron card, choose one green battle card. It specifies green battle card on this one from your drop area with an energy cost less than or equal to your current energy. and play it. Then choose one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 2 or less and KO it. So this card would have been very, very powerful against combating the whole world peace thing, because now you can use the Plea for Salvation for the Kaioken Goku. So very heads up play by Bandai to hit the Plea for Salvation along with hitting world peace, because if they would have hit world peace, people would have just mitigated to more Kaioken strategy and played Plea for Salvation instead, and maybe mitigated to even more of a green base so that they can actually cast the Plea of Salvation instead of just using it as their free wish for the turn. So very heads up play. Really like this change, because now this is going to be post-errata to choose one green battle card in your drop area with energy cost 3 or less, play it, then choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost 2 or less and KO it. So it goes along with the same reasoning as why we were hitting world peace, but it goes ahead and hits something else that's kind of like on the same line. Granted, this one has the green battle card restriction versus World Peace, which didn't have a color restriction. But regardless, one of the most prevalent bombs that people were bringing back with World Peace was actually a green battle card in the form of Kaioken Son Goku. So, great hit on this Plea of Salvation. It was pretty obvious if you hit World Peace, you had to hit the Plea of Salvation. So, great call on Bandai. I don't see this can still be played in the veggies variants of Shenron's. This is a green energy because that deck is actually primarily green and red. This is actually going to be a great card to play over World Peace in that specific type of build. Granted, it also KOs a battle card with energy cost 2 or less, so that's great. So that's the second errata on Bandai's hit list. Let's go on to the next. Next up on the chopping block is Perugia. Perugia leader is now officially errata. Unfortunately, his brother Shenron untouched, but Perugia here looking like he got the worst of the situation. Now, it has a lot to do with what Perugia actually does, which is pretty similar or pretty much the exact carbon copy of what World Peace was doing. Now, its ultimate normally can go remove 7 Dragon Balls from your drop area, then choose one battle card with energy cost less than or equal to your current energy from your drop area, then play it, but then you would have to flip your leader back over at the end of the turn, making it unable to awaken ever again for the rest of the turn, for the rest of the game actually, and it would be stuck at a 10k base, so it's pretty much vulnerable to all your opponent's onslaughts. Now, it has much more of a steep cost in the way that if you play it, it's not just like a World Peace where there's not really any repercussions. With the leader, when you're going all in on this strategy, it's really going to affect exactly when you play it. You really need to push the trigger at the exact correct moment, because if you don't win the game there and now, or maybe in the next turn, then it could be very devastating, because then you're taking on all your opponent's attacks with only a 10k leader without being able to ever wish again or being able to draw again or do anything really that you would do on your awakened side, because you would be stuck on that unawakened side. So with the errata on this big boy, they're going to go and change it from any battle card based on your energy to something that has an energy cost of 3 or less. So pretty similar and consistent to what they did with World Peace and what they did with Plea for Salvation. So honestly, if you're going to hit one card, might as well hit the rest. Honestly, with something that's pretty much a carbon copy. Now, the leader's a little bit different, like I mentioned before, but regardless, being able to have cards in the game that still do that effect without touching them wouldn't exactly be fair. So I can see where Bandai came from in being able to hit this Wish Leader. Now, Wish Leaders have always been very powerful, specifically Perugia and the Shenron leader, because of their ability to accelerate their awakening, making it so that they all awaken usually by turn 3 the latest because of their 2 Dragon Ball Search, and almost making it like those leaders draw 2 cards. So it always seemed like those Wish Leaders were at a different tier, and I wish that get it? Wish. I wish that they would have actually hit Shenron as well, because that triple attack is actually a pretty big deal. It makes you be able to kill on turn 4 at times with at all cost Vegeta. All you have to do is resolve an objection. So I don't know how I feel about just hitting Perugia and not hitting Shenron, because Shenron has always been the more powerful leader, and it's always had the higher performance, especially on a lot of the higher caliber events. So not to say that Perugia was bad, but now it kind of puts everyone in an awkward position where they're just like, if you're playing Wish, you're playing Shenron no matter what, and that triple attack is very, very scary. So that's it for Bandai's third hit. We're gonna see exactly what else they hit next. Next up on the errata list is a brand new card, actually, from Series 8, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, a Heartfelt Plea. Now this card, before the errata, would allow you to play multiple times, like the skill multiple times in a turn. So they didn't really intend it that way during card design, so they just simply made it very obvious that you could only play it once per turn. So that's pretty much it. That was a much smaller errata than the other two. This card hasn't come out yet. It's great on Bandai for them actually noticing it before it actually got printed, and that's a beautiful thing about spoilers. If you keep up with the spoilers, if they see reaction to a specific card, they'll be able to change it before it actually, I don't know if they'll be able to actually change it before the print run, highly doubtful, as I believe the cards have already been printed, but at least people won't start making decks or buying the card without knowing that that's how that actually works. So heads up on them. And for the next two erratas, there were just oversight on some cards that they forgot to put like a colon or a semicolon or something like that, but we're going to go ahead and check them out. This one's really short. This is the new baby from the set 8. This is Great 8 Baby, the ultimate evil life form. All they forgot to do is forgot to put the comma instead of the colon. Nothing too crazy. Doesn't change anything about this card. It was just one of the erratas. And finally, I really wish that this wasn't an errata actually, and they just did this purposely, but it looks like they just messed up on this one. They added energy exhaust to this multicolor card, and this was like the only multicolor card that didn't have energy exhaust, and I thought it was like on purpose, but I guess it was by mistake. So every multicolor to this point will now be energy exhaust. This is the only card that didn't actually have it printed on it, but hopefully I really want to see in the future cards that actually come in unexhausted and see how they implement that with what type of restrictions. But for now, this Android 21 will get added to the forever list of all multicolored cards coming in untapped. And that is it for the erratas, guys. Thank you guys for watching. These erratas will be implemented starting November 15th in the USA and November 22nd for Europe. Now, this does include the Pro Play Tour in Dallas. We do have Dallas coming up very soon. It's going to be November 23rd and 24th. We're going to have, I believe that is the debut of Series 8. So you're going to be able to play with the new Series 8 cards. You're going to be able to play with all the Android cards, all the baby cards, all those new cards that you've been seeing on spoilers. This is actually the release weekend for it. Now, don't forget, you're going to be able to get these cards at your local game store the weekend before during the pre-release events. So definitely get your hands on as many cards. You can buy boxes, I believe, that weekend too. So support your local game store. Go out there, get the singles that you need. If you're missing anything on site, don't forget, Pro Play Games will have a vending booth at the Pro Play Tour, and you'll be able to buy any singles or boxes or anything that you weren't able to get at your local game store, or what you're missing, you'll be able to trade in or buy or do whatever you want to do, sell access of it at the Pro Play Tour. So don't be worried, you'll be covered. I've heard from different events that they haven't been able to get the cards on release weekend, but this is going to be 100% secure for you guys to be able to lock in those orders. You can also pre-order on our website for the lowest prices online. For the singles, you can do in-store pickup and just contact us and we'll bring it to you at Dallas. So it's kind of like, boom, you already have it secured and you already know that it's going to be there for that price. So don't forget also, Sunday is our case tournament for that team case tournament. So if you don't do so hot on Saturday in the main event and you're not in Top Cut, or even if you're in Top Cut, we've made it the way that we run it, we've been able to get everybody into that side event. So even if you're in the finals, you can still play in that team case tournament. So very cool. That's going to be happening at noon. For those of you who don't make it, you can sleep in and then come in on Sunday at noon. And we're going to have a team case tournament for that brand new set, so you can get those boxes while they're at the highest value on the market. So hope to see you guys all at Dallas. This is going to be a very exciting format. I'm really glad that Bandai rolled out these changes at the end of it. Let us know what type of errata you didn't like. Tell us your favorite errata, or tell us if what they should have done. Thank you guys again for your love and support. We will see you at a Pro Play Tour Dallas. Stay tuned to PPG's channel for brand new content on Series 8. Can't wait to make those brand new brews. Till next time, we're out.